Right, right. Would you see, just your personal opinion, if there is any sort of a weak link in a restaurant, that it's always at the service level?
Service or atmosphere, more so than food. Um,
Yeah, I can understand that, but atmosphere is something you can say, okay, well, at least the food is good. But I'm just wondering, do your servers that you've been noticing, because I've been out of the food writing game for a few years,
mhm,
I always noticed that they just really didn't have the knowledge base. They didn't know where the fish was from. They didn't know even if it was fresh.
mhm.
They would just go based on what was going to put more money in their pocket because it was a higher priced item. Are you seeing any of that? Do you sense any of that happening still?
Let's unpack the two things, but let's go back to atmosphere because I can tie that back to psychology.
Good.
I do see that to an extent, but I don't see anyone pushing anything onto me that I used to see 5 years ago. It was big pushing the steak onto someone else. I don't see that nearly as much. What I see is the service industry is really struggling just to find people willing to work in the industry, and there's multiple levels. First, a livable wage is a concern. A lot of these restaurants, especially local ones, they're razor thin margins. They might bring out this foie gras, this not foie gras, this wagyu steak that's you're paying $200 for. The restaurant might only pay 120 for it, and they're like, "Well, that's $20 they're getting for that." That's when you think of overhead and everything. That's not a whole lot of profit margin. And so right
Right.
now, the service is really, and just part of it is really being hit hard. And I find that the chains are generally the worst, and that's why I stick to local because the local ones care for their servers so much more and I get so much better service.
Are you finding that restaurants are still pretty much, because the margins are so razor thin, like you say, and I agree, do you
Mhm.
find that they do push alcohol and cocktails and wines and things like that? Because that's really the difference maker between a restaurant that is going to survive and one that will not.
Absolutely. So some of them I do, some of them I do not. Right now in Oklahoma, the trend is private wine dinners or special wine dinners hosted once a month by restaurant.